How you doing? How you be? Top to the AB in gaming news and tech news, ironically. Dead Island 2 is actually getting ready to release in April. I didn't even know that was a game. Well, I knew the first one, but I didn't know about the second one. Call of Duty Season 3 more stuff. 7800X3D is out and the reviews are out, and it actually is performing better than just about anything else, as well as One Piece Odyssey right after this. Hi, I'm Anthony, and if you are new here, consider subscribing. We actually troubleshoot and help people with their technical issues and PC gaming issues, and subscribing will help us grow the channel and help more people. Thanks. Hi, how you doing? How you be? Top to the AB. Hope everybody had a good day at work. Hope everybody had a good day at school or church or whatever you did for today. My name is Anthony, or TheOpenForum, and we are gaming adjacent. Essentially, we help people with their video game problems, their video game issues, PC issues, tech issues, and anything of the sort. Anything that tickles my fancy, we pretty much help with. We have unlimited range here, so if you have any questions or anything, be sure to put them in the chat. I will see them because it is actually on my computer. So, like, literally, my computer screen is the chat window. So if you have any questions, please feel free to add there. And without further ado, let's get things started. Let me actually grab a headset and then we can get going here. Okay. There we go. Oh God. I'm pretty sure I just crushed my my Apple Magic keyboard. Hold on. Are you okay? Oh, no, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, cool. Just making sure. This thing is pretty useful, so I don't want to kill it. But yeah, let me just move this over here. Alrighty, here. Let's go ahead and get things popping here. So, moving on here. So what we'll do for the game today, we'll actually do Genshin Impact because I just got the button. So let's just go ahead and add this here, and then I'll try to change up as much as I can, but as of right now, we'll just do Genshin Impact for right now. And you know, if somebody requests something else, we'll change to something else, but that's what we'll do for right now because I'm pretty good at the game. Alrighty, now moving on. First here we have Dead Island 2, so let's go ahead and take a look at this guy. Cute. Burgers look good. Okay, so here's what I remember about Dead Island 2. There was a zombie apocalypse, and then he shot them, and that's about it. Oh, there was a beach. The first Dead Island took place on like a beach or something, and yeah, that's all I remember. So Dead Island 2 comes out this month, actually. It's like I knew about it. Like, I think I ran into somebody and they mentioned it to me, and then they were like, oh yeah, you know, Dead Island's coming out with a part 2. I was like, get the hell out of town. But I don't know if I ever watched the trailer for it. So there you go, Dead Island 2. Alrighty, so this is another trailer for Call of Duty Season 3. Why is Call of Duty making another trailer? I don't know. Was that a goat?
I'm going after our lady.
What you don't do, your competitors will.
Okay. We don't need to see it again. Okay, we get it. Lots of animals. Alrighty, so Call of Duty Season 3, that was a thing. So let's go ahead and go to the next one here. So this one is interesting. So the AMD Ryzen 7 7800X3D reviews, and it basically has it as one of the new gaming champ, which beats pricier CPUs, which I find very, very interesting because this guy here is cheaper than the 7900X as well as the 7950X 3D. So the Ryzen 7800X3D is the fastest gaming chip available and easily beats more expensive competitors from both Intel and AMD's own lineup at an affordable price point of $449. It's still 12% faster in gaming on average than Intel's $580 flagship, the 13900K, and up to 40% faster in some titles. And it also beats the fastest gaming CPU currently available, AMD's own 699 16-core 7950X 3D. Second gen 3D cache tech powers the 7800X's 3D's incredible gaming performance by boosting the chip's L3 cache capacity to an incredible 96 megabytes via a 3D stacked chiplet, assuring it a top spot on our list of best CPUs for gaming. It is an 8-core, 6 threads. It can boost up to 5 gigahertz, and it has 120 watt TDP with a precision boost overdrive to 162 watts, which is pretty pricey. I mean, I don't even, well, okay, this computer here I run at 120 watts, but some of my others that I have, I don't actually run them at 120. I actually run them at 105 or 65, depending on the situation. But typically I run them at the 105. But you know, it's 7800X3D. I mean, I don't know about the processors, because even if it's 7% faster, you're not going to run it with just by itself. But if we're talking about just running it as, you know, as a single CPU and using that guy for your rendering as well as your gameplay performance, that may not be a bad idea. Maybe we're starting to get to the point where there is no need for a GPU for travel PCs. Maybe we can actually get by with something like this guy here and not actually put a GPU in it, and instead just put like a CPU in an ITX build and use this to travel with. Maybe it's strong enough for something like that. Who knows? You know, especially because you got to think about it, right? So when you travel, you typically travel with something like a 1080p monitor or something along those lines. And for situations like that, whenever you do have a 1080p monitor, you really don't need anything super strong, especially if we're talking about a GPU, right? Because 1080p is bound by CPU, not GPU. So in those situations, you may be better off with just going with a CPU in certain situations if they are actually boosting and actually performing on par with something along the lines of like a 1060, 1070, 1080, 2060, 2070, 2080, somewhere in that ballpark. If they're giving you somewhere in that range and you're still running at 1080p on your portable monitor, it may actually be a pretty good idea. So it's kind of an interesting one how they have this currently set up. I'm kind of excited for it. I want to see how strong it is just by itself without a GPU, to see maybe if there is even a point of traveling with a GPU these days. So yeah, 7800X3D, it is out on the rise. And it's super expensive, so please don't buy it yet. Wait till the price gets down. Please don't be like me and spend $750 on a 7950X and then it drops its price by like $300. Please don't do that. All right, last one up here is One Piece Odyssey.
またどこかの島に向かって出発するの？
ああ、
そうだ。
海には知らねえ世界がまだまだあるからな。もっといろんな島を冒険してんだ。
楽しかったな。ルフィたちとの冒険。
Was?
そんなに楽しかったのなら、また楽しめばいい。何度でも。
お前、リムか？
みんな離れて。
何ですかこの光は。
なんだまたメモリアか。
クロコダイルがこの国を乗っ取ったって？
俺たちの記憶と全然違うじゃねえか。
あの子にこんなメモリアを改変するような能力あるはずない。もちろん私にだって黒いキューブを持ったリムに似た少女。
この力があれば世界を
Oh
相
god,
手
not
に
a
で
him.
きる。
Not again.
でこいつらがここで出てくるんだ。
俺たちをここから出せ。
そういうわけにはいかないわ。あなたたちは残された観測対象ですもの。私は消えてもいい。だからみんなを。
Yo, shout out to One Piece. It is 207 years old today.
皆さんあれ黒いキューブ です。またなんか呼び出すつもりか。
Oh God. What's the point of summoning somebody who's still bad against rubber? How are you gonna summon him? His man is awful against rubber, and it's not even we're not even talking about like the crazy bending rubber and turning him into a rubber and turning everyone else into rubber and nothing hurts in the super god mode monkey Luffy. We're not even talking about that. This man is just weak against regular old rubber. Like, why would you at least gain some fire powers before you come back to the world? Like, come on, man, you're just gonna get one shot. Like, I remember when when Luffy hit him, he was just so gobsmacked that none of his attacks worked on him. It was sad. It was actually just, it was sad. It was sad. It was like watching fire fight water. It was just like, why are you even bothering? But in any event, One Piece Odyssey out in a theater near you. When does this come out? Oh, okay. It's a DLC trailer. Okay, cool. So it's already out. Got it. All right, let's get to helping people. Let's do this thing. Okay. Okay, so this one's just going to be straight text. So we'll just go ahead and get it on. He doesn't even have a question. It just says, my Xbox One is a little crap. It turned on its own, from Violet Wolf K. What do you want me to do with that? Okay. Do you have an issue? Or I don't even know what am I supposed to say to that? I got my teeth pulled today. Like, what am I supposed to say to that? How am I supposed to troubleshoot you getting your tooth pulled? Like, what am I supposed to say? Like, what do you want me to say? Like, okay. How about, do you have an issue? We'll just go with that. I mean, he posted that in tech support or Xbox support. Is he upset about it? Like, I mean, I'm not really mad if my Xbox turns itself on. I mean, why would it turn itself on? Probably its power settings if we really want to get into it. But I mean, I would rather him just reply just to see what he says, because I mean, yeah, he probably has it set to what was it, power save? I feel like it's power save. Let me switch it off here. Let's find out. Or it's something along those lines. If it's settings and power options, sleep. He probably has it set to sleep, and so him probably just moving something may have turned it on. Is what I'm thinking. So we'll go ahead and add it. We'll just go ahead and add it. Call it a day. Did somebody ping me for work? No. I'm on call. Sorry. I got to check just to make sure. Okay. Do you have an issue? More than likely, the power options are set to, oh, you can't see that, are set to sleep. This will be in settings, power options. Here you can turn off sleep so the box will fully shut down. I'm guessing that's what he's talking about, or maybe he's just trying to, I don't know, air out his grievances, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's a thing. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next one here. Tronikovic. Okay, this is a repeat anyway. Could a graphics card get damaged from playing The Last of Us PC? I remember this. So we just talked about it. We were like, hey, you know, no, first off. But secondly, you know, just go into your event viewer to see if there's any errors. He said, thank you. It doesn't seem to have done anything in the end. Sweet. I'm glad it helped. So let's reply back. Sweet. Glad you got everything situated. Go ahead and put in our lovely counter here. What is it called? Say, well, just let them know, hey, you know, we do this all the time. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our YouTube channel. So yeah, that is actually going to be a win. The first win we've had in a very long time. I am so excited. Yes, confetti. Yes. You know how long it's been since we had a W? It has been forever. It has been at least over a week. So I'm taking this win. I'm taking it for the people. So, so thank you. We appreciate it. I'm glad we were able to help you out there. Even though there wasn't really anything wrong, you were just asking a simple question. But at least we were able to get you settled here, and we'll take what we can get here. We haven't had a W in forever. Last time we had like 4 assist trophies. So we'll take a W if we can get it. Alrighty. So next one here. Miyamoto always planned to make Princess Peach a powerful woman. That's interesting. So I've been watching the Variety interview featuring Miyamoto about the Mario movie, and he gave some interesting insight on Peach. She was always meant to be a powerful princess since the beginning, and the movie had the opportunity, so this is what Miyamoto wanted all along. But we did have desires to make her a playable character and make her have her own story, be a more powerful princess, etc. We tried to push that further for the movie to make her the strong, powerful princess she was always meant to be. I never thought she was weak. I mean, okay, to be fair, the reason why I never thought of her as weak is because, one, you played her in Super Mario Bros. 2, right? So in Super Mario Bros. 2, you played her. And it's even in Super Mario Bros. 2, she could float. And I remember this at 6 or 7, however I was whenever Super Mario 2 came out. I was like 7 or 8. So even in Super Mario Bros. 2, she can float. And then on top of that, when Smash Brothers came out, she still could float. so she's always had that ability, and she's always been very, very powerful. So I never really thought of her as a weak character in general. I think Zelda's character progression is weaker than Peach's character progression, because there are times where you looked at Zelda as weak for a very long time. Until Ocarina of Time came out and she became Sheik, and you saw another version of Zelda, and Zelda had more of a role to play and light arrows became a thing. You never really looked to Zelda as being a powerful character. They never tried. It wasn't that she was good or bad. It's just that the game was called Legend of Zelda, and you play a boy that has nothing to do with this. That's essentially what the Legend of Zelda was. You played Link. He had nothing to do with the entire fight outside of the fact that he had the Triforce of Courage. Wisdom and power, that's what it was about. It was about Ganon's tribe versus Zelda's tribe. And Link just got in the middle like, hey, what seems to be the problem? So that's pretty much what Zelda was until she came into her own in Ocarina of Time. Ever since then, she's had her character. And of course, Smash Brothers, of course, you can say that as well. But Smash Brothers, when Zelda came in, she was with Sheik. So that was the whole situation there. But I've always thought of Peach as a strong character. They just never gave her a real story. It'd be nice if they actually did, the capturing of the princess and all that kind of stuff, capturing of Mario and Luigi, and how Princess and Toad saved them, the reverse, and see exactly how that goes. But, I never really thought of her as a weak character to begin with. Kind of like Samus. I never thought of Samus as a weak character either, but Samus has always been in that limelight. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and go to the next one here. So this is from Mayhem Monkey. I like the name. This is a new issue. Hu Tao. This is one of my favorite teams, actually. For some reason, well, not even for some reason, I prefer Toma with this build because Toma can swirl with Kazuha in order to make Hu Tao deal more damage. And then Yelan kind of fits this team really, really well. So yeah, sometimes I dot up people just so I can just go and then use that dot to swirl, but sometimes I don't. It really just kind of depends on the situation. But yeah, this is one of my favorite teams because I don't know why, but I just really like Hu Tao. Probably because of all the characters that I ended up, because I'm a super whale, but for a long time. But Hu Tao was the only character, even at C0, could hang with all of the C6s and all that. So big fan of Hu Tao. But Mayhem Monkey, Series X controller unresponsive after battery change. Okay. No thanks. I thought it, okay. Yesterday I changed my battery pack in my controller and it became unresponsive. I've power cycled both the console and the controller. That didn't resolve the issue. When I attempt to sync, both the console and the controller blink like they're trying, but nothing. Okay, I then plugged a USB-C cable in without a battery. The controller powers on, but still nothing for control of the console. Am I missing something? Thanks in advance. No, you're not. Okay, so when I attempt to sync, one, when he plugs it in directly, it doesn't do anything after battery change. Well, how many controllers do you have? How many controllers do you have? Are other controllers working? The fact that I would try to boot your Xbox with a different controller, or via remote play. With a different controller or via remote play, and then try to set up the controller wired to see if it pairs. So yeah, in this kind of a situation here, it'd be very, very useful if we had a second controller, because it's like, okay, well, there's not a whole lot we can do here if you only have one controller, right? The only thing that you can really do here is try to remote in, or basically remote play, and then get it booted up, and then try to pair the controller by looking at remote play. You can try that, or you can try to pair with something else and then use remote play, or you can try hooking it up directly, but you've already tried that. But at the same time, another controller would really help with this situation, but those are really your only options here. You can, because you know, it seems like the controller is not having a really good time, especially when you have it hooked up directly and it's still not doing anything. Also, I would try to change the batteries. It's possible that the new batteries you put in it are bad. Let me add that right there. It's also possible that the batteries you replace it with are bad. I would swap them out just to be sure. There we go. Alrighty there. So that's what I would say for that, Man Monkey. Keep us posted, bro. Alrighty, this is from Trundlenator. I remember this name. New PS4 Pro flickering screen and buzzing noise. So he has an HDMI cable going into his TV, obviously, for his PS4, and he was noticing that it was flickering and sound distortion, which makes us think that it's going to be a cable. And we said, now you're fine posting here, but yes, you're absolutely, because sound is breaking too, and we were talking about the HDMI. He said, we'll be trying that and let you know how it goes. I said, of course, it's what we do, bro. Keep us posted. He said, small update for you. I tried my Pro in another TV with a different HDMI, and it worked with no issue, so you were right about the problem. I'll be getting a new HDMI soon to replace the faulty one and can then enjoy my new Pro as intended. Thanks for the answer advice. It proved very helpful. What? 2 W's in a day? Let's go. This is my second W today. Thanks for the update and shameless plug. I don't know, paste plain text. Alrighty, so yeah, I'm glad it was able to get you working here. Give me my W. That's all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to tell y'all. Give me my W. I deserve the W. So hey, I'm so glad we got that going for him. Hey, we're doing good. This is way better than we had in the past few days. We even had last week we had 2 assists and an L. Like, it's bad. Like we were just not doing very well. But today has been pretty solid. So let's go ahead and go to our next group here. Was that the end of that group? Yes, it was. All right. Doing pretty good for today. So let me do this here. I'm also on call, so I got to keep watching. Okay. Group 2, let's do this. So this is from who? Rachel. Let's just go with Rachel because I can't read. It says Paris, and I'm just going to call her Paris. But I mean, nobody really wants to be called Paris because that's like a grass bug Pokemon, and he's like really bad against fire. So we'll just go with Rachel. Xbox thinks I'm DVI when I'm HDMI. When I switch, it reverses to 640 by 480. I am new and by no means tech savvy, but when I turned on to play, the Xbox was in 640 by 480 display. I did all the basic troubleshooting things and finally settled to reset the Xbox and just keep the games and apps. The Xbox picked up the 1080p resolution, but thinks it's DVI and not HDMI. So now my sound won't work, but the picture is back to normal. For those of you who are not aware, DVI did not pass audio. I know DVI has kind of gone to the way of the dinosaurs, but for us old people, DVI is very common. The Xbox picked up the 1080p resolution, but thinks it's DVI and not HDMI. So now my sound won't work, but the picture is back to normal again. If I go into settings and try to change the display to HDMI or automatic detection, it reverts back to the crappy, small, blurry screen. Please help. Also not sure if this is the same, but it's my brother's Xbox Series S. Thank you. Okay, so for this, what is your frame rate set at? Also, could you try to swap out the HDMI cable with a different cable and try a different input on the TV, or move it to a different TV entirely. Let us know how that goes. Yeah, so for this one here, I think we still have Xbox up actually. Yeah, so for this one here, what we want to do is we want to see what the refresh rate is at, because that's what's worrying me. I feel like they may have had the refresh rate set to like 120 hertz, and because of that, that's maybe what they're having a problem with. Sometimes TVs can advertise 120 but not really mean it. They only mean 120 in theory. They don't mean it in actual practice. They'd be like, whoa, what is this 120 hertz? I said 120 hertz interlace, not progressive. So you know, sometimes it does that. So we just kind of want to know what they're doing for their refresh rate here, making sure that it is set to 60 hertz. But yeah, generally, if it's seeing itself as DVI or treating it as DVI and not passing sound, it makes me think that you may have an issue with your HDMI cable or the ports on either the Xbox Series S or the television. It can be either or. So because of that, we can just do it all. So basically replace the cable, try a different HDMI cable, and try to move it to a different TV or a different input. Alrighty here. Almost pressed the wrong button. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still celebrating my W. I'm so sorry. All right, so let's go ahead and let us know how that goes, and we'll go ahead and close that out there. Okay, Rachel, keep us posted. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next one here. So this is from Astral Cow. We were talking about this. This is the guy with the NHD 15, and he had 1 million fans on it. So, okay. So you guys can see this. TV dad. That's cute. Yeah, so he was talking about having the 3 fan setup, but when he put it in his chassis, it looked like this, and we were like, no, that's bad. That's bad juju. Stop doing that. So basically, we were telling him to reverse it. Also, I'm not liking the orientation of his fans. It appears that it's actually blowing this way, like it's blowing downward. It's blowing this way. It's blowing into the graphics card, which is horrible. So this is completely wrong. So basically, you just want to reverse this, like rotate it to the right. So rotate it 90 degrees to the right, and then remove the fan. Okay, it's all wrong. So basically, you want to rotate it to the right 90 degrees. You want to remove this fan, and this fan you want to flip it, so that way the air is going out the case. So yeah, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. This is not right at all. But yeah, so that's where our conversation left off, I believe. All right, so back to just straight text, and we were like, hey, this is all wrong. And I'm using it to pull air in from the sides as well, so I don't want to rotate it. Positive pressure case. Okay. Okay, bro. Okay, bro. I mean, what am I supposed to say to that? He's like, no. What did you want me to, like, if you're not gonna do it? Okay, gotcha. I'm not even gonna say gotcha because I don't get them, but I'll just say okay. Sick cooler, pro cooler. I don't even know what to say on that. Pro cooler. Okay, bro. Pro cooler. I mean, what am I supposed to say to that? They'd be like, hey, I really think you should do this in order to fix your issue. Oh, I don't have an issue. Okay, well, well, hey, I'm not about to argue with you, man. If you ain't got no issue, then we don't see no problems. But yo fans are literally blowing into a graphics card. So I don't know. I mean, where I'm from, that's wrong. But I mean, hey, he wants to keep the positive airflow, and heat rises and it's blowing downward. But I mean, you know, none of my business. I'm just gonna stay out of it. I mean, why would you ask our opinion if you don't want? Hey, what do you think about this dress? Oh, well, it makes you look fat. Well, why did you even ask me if you knew what I was gonna say? That's exactly how I feel about this. But you know, hey, I mean, you know, if you don't want our opinion now, then we won't give it to him. Stop posting in public chats if you don't want people's opinion. Like, come on, man. But okay, whatever. I'm off my soapbox here. But okay, whatever. Oh my goodness, did I close out his? Whatever. It's okay. So this is gonna be from Fruit Loops. I like the name. It's like Louis, but it's like Loops, but we'll call them Fruit Loops. That's cool. Connection and multiplayer games. I got a PlayStation 5, but all of the multiplayer games are really laggy. I played offline games and they seem fine. I've tried turning on and off Wi-Fi, checking the connection, and it said that it was connected. Is there any way I can fix this? So I got a PlayStation 5, but all the multiplayer games are really laggy. I played offline games and they seem fine. Okay, so his network connectivity is weak. So let's look at this. As soon as I figure out which controller I'm gonna use. There we go. All right, let me get a swig here while we wait on the PS5 to boot. All right, so PS5. Alrighty, so he said, okay, so let's go into our settings here. So it appears that he's having issues with network connectivity, and it also appears that my controller is almost dead, which is not a big deal. Let me swap it real quick. Okay, so we want to go to network and we want to basically have him test his internet connection and see exactly what it says for him. So it was settings, network, test internet connection. Is there anything else in the settings that's special? No. So connections, settings, connection status, test internet connection. Okay. Sorry, my phone. I felt it vibrate on my wrist, and I was like, "Oh snap!" Okay, so this is gonna be settings. So for this, could you go to settings, network, connection status, and then from here, run a test of your network connection. What does it say? Also try to connect your PS5 directly to your router to see if that makes a difference. Okay, so we'll add those two. So basically do a test of your internet connection as well as plug it directly into your router, see if it makes a difference, and go from there. Alrighty, Fruit Loops, keep us posted, bro. Or Brodette, whatever. Whatever broski, which happens to be the next person that we have here, ironically, says image flickering. Hello guys, I was playing on my PS5 and all was well, but as soon as I hit the PlayStation button to go back, oh, I remember this. So basically, whenever he was playing a game and then he hit the PlayStation home button, as in he held it down, not just pressed it, he held it down, the image started to flicker, getting mixed up, etc. As soon as I managed to close the game, everything was fine. And he wants to know what had happened. But at that point in time, depending on where he's at in the game, it's either going to be driver memory, and we were talking about that, right? Or reboot, right? No, but does it happen with all games? If so, there may be an issue with memory or your NVMe SSD. I would say if it happens to all games, uninstall one of them and reinstall to see if that resolves the issue. If not, let us know. Also, be sure to reboot the PS5 and swap the HDMI cable just to be on the safe side. It hasn't happened before, and it didn't happen during gameplay. I was just playing and wanted to close the game, and as soon as I hit the PS button, it happened. As soon as I closed the game, it stopped. I checked the cable and it was okay. In my opinion, don't know if I broke anything. LOL. Well, if that's the case, then go ahead and reboot the PS5 and see if you can recreate the issue. If you can't, we will call it a mulligan. I don't even know what mulligan means, but I'm just gonna assume that it means we'll leave it alone. But everybody, I've heard people say it, so I'm just gonna say it because it doesn't sound offensive or anything. But if you can't, we will call it a mulligan, and that's exactly what it is. You know, like if you reboot it and then try again and you can't recreate the issue, we'll leave it alone because there's not a whole lot we can do here because we're talking about depending on where you're at in the game, it's either hard drive or memory, right? So, but at the same time, there's not a whole lot you can do here if it's hard drive or if it's memory, outside of rebooting the PC to see if that resolves it, because the memory should be able to, well, okay. I don't know if the PlayStation 5 has ECC memory. In other words, I don't know if it has the ability to correct itself. So I'm not gonna go out on a limb and say that. Instead, I would say just go ahead and reboot and see if it resolves the issue, or uninstall and reinstall a game to see if it's a hard drive issue. Those are the two best ways to handle that if that's what's happening and it's flickering like that, and you know, outside of cables and stuff like that. Alrighty, whatever, broski. Keep us posted, bro. Alrighty, group 3, let's do this. Feeling pretty good about myself right about now. but we haven't done all of the repeats, so we probably have an L coming pretty soon to level me off. So this is from Poggers69. This is a new issue. PS5 LAN connection issues. My PS5 seems to not detect any LAN cables anymore. I tried switching the cable itself and restarted my router numerous times and it still doesn't work. Detects Ethernet to the same network just fine. Is this a hardware issue? Are there any ways to fix this? What? I had tried switching the cable itself and started my router numerous times and it still doesn't work. It detects Ethernet to the same network. What do you mean by that? Just fine. It detects Ethernet to the same network just fine. Is this a hardware issue? What do you mean? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by detects Ethernet to the same network? So in this particular situation here, if you can't hook it up wired, I would take the exact same Ethernet cable and hook it up into a computer to make sure it works. And then, okay, well, actually, we'll just tell them that. So I would take that same cable going into your PS5, and plug it into a computer to ensure it works. Then to ensure that it works, then I would test Wi-Fi on the PS5 to ensure that works. Then test Wi-Fi on the PS5 to ensure that works. What errors does it give you in the network screen? Because I'm wondering, I think he was maybe talking like it had local connectivity, but it didn't have access to the internet. So I want to see exactly what happens whenever he tests it. So whenever he's in a network settings, I kind of want to see what's happening here. If it just can't connect to the PlayStation Store, but everything else is fine, then that means that he just may have an issue with DHCP or NAT. But at the same time, there's no real way to say that because he already said he restarted his router, right? So if NAT was the case, then it will affect everybody. It won't just affect one device. What errors does it give you in the network screen? So we'll just go with that. Well, okay, I was just say it's okay to just say network screen. I was gonna say settings network screen, but it's just literally just settings and then network. So I want to see exactly what he's getting with those errors and then kind of go from there. But I'm not sure what he means when he says detect Ethernet to the same network. I feel like he says that he has LAN connectivity but not WAN connectivity, meaning that it's basically able to see neighbors, but it's not able to get onto the internet. It's not able to connect to the PlayStation Store. So I'm thinking that's what he's actually referring to, but we'll see. Alrighty, Poggers, keep us posted, bro. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next one here. And let's check that. Cool. All right, is this drift? I remember this. This is the guy with the foot. That shows a picture of his foot, but that has nothing to do with this. But basically, he's saying his left sticks essentially are moving upwards on its own. And he was trying to figure out if that was considered drift. And so we said, so does the other controller have this problem as well? If not, then it appears that your dead zone is too low. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing an option where you can change it. I would say go to settings, device, and controller here. Check to see if there's an update for this controller that may help. Also, if you plug the controller in wire, does the issue go away? So with this situation here, is that a PlayStation? Yeah, it's a PlayStation. All right, so with this issue here, we were talking about dead zone, and we were basically saying, you know, like dead zone is basically the area around a controller. So sometimes it may be kind of stuck like this. So it's automatically moving the character up because you've basically worn this button, this axis out. And so it kind of wears itself out and then it kind of moves up on its own. Whenever you have this, there's a feature that's called dead zone. Basically, you increase the dead zone so it considers this to be dead. That way it won't have that problem anymore. But of course, you know, there's limitations because you can only have such a high, you can't go that high in the dead zone. But on the settings, we checked it for him. There is no option to change the dead zone of the PlayStation 5 controller. It's just not there. So there's not a whole lot we can do here, you know, outside of trying to make sure that his controller doesn't need an update, which mine did, which is why we set that. He said the other doesn't do this. No, the wire didn't help and I have it updated. Well, it's over, bro. Then yeah, this will be drift, unfortunately. If it is under warranty, you can try an RMA. You can try an RMA. Let us know if you have any further questions. Okay, so yeah, it's over. There's nothing that we can do on that because there's no option for dead zone there. Now, is a possibility that there may be an option there because remember the PlayStation controllers, all of these controllers can actually pair with PCs or phones. Or phones, iPhone with one of the newest updates. So this was maybe 6 months ago. So by now, most people have already been on a more up-to-date version of the iPhone. So now it is able to pair with PS5 controllers. So you may be able to change the settings on a phone or a PC, but you won't be able to change them on the PS5. It's just no option to increase the dead zone. So it's already kind of a lost cause there, especially once he tried the wire and he already has it updated and the other one doesn't have this problem. It's drift, bro. It's over. Well, it's on its way out the door. I mean, technically you can kind of hold it down and try to fix it, but it's only a patch. It's not going to fix the actual issue. It's a hardware problem. So this is from Mr. Tim. Never could afford to build a PC when I was younger. I feel your pain, bro. Was using an old 1063 gig PC. I also have a 3 gig. It's one of my, I had 1066 gigs because the 1066 gigs were good for mining, and finally got around to build my first PC on my own. Need to work on cable management, but happy with how it came out. So congratulations. I'm happy for you, bro. I like your lights. They're pretty. And it's all white. You know, the whited out cases, I used to love them. I used to always want a whited out case, and then I started to get the components and I didn't like it because you got to think about it, right? It's very hard to get a white graphics card. And so you may start off with it being all white, but by the time you get done and you upgrade it, it won't be all white. You're going to upgrade to a graphics card that's probably going to be black. You're going to get some new memory that's probably not going to be white. You may swap out with another power supply that won't have cables that are white. You're probably going to, you know, there's so many different things. One of your fans may die. You may have to replace it, but the other fan doesn't have white. Your cooler may not be white. You see what I'm saying? It's so many things that happen during the process of a PC that will change the color of the PC. Therefore, like for example, even in his build, his graphics card isn't white, and that would irk me. You see what I'm saying? It's those kind of things right there that kind of annoy me, but I mean, his build is absolutely amazing. Oh, so everybody can see. I suck at this game, by the way. I really suck. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I don't like that they put that in the game. And I was just sitting here trying to press all buttons at once or something like that to just try to get better. But this is like Dance Dance Revolution. But I mean, I don't play this to play Dance Dance Revolution, bro. That's like not my thing. And on top of that, I didn't feel like remembering the buttons. I was just trying to get the Crown of Insight so I can take another skill to max. But yeah, I hated this. I hated this so much. But yeah, that's why you see me being terrible at that. But yeah, that's a thing. But yeah, so with his PC thing, yeah, white out rainbow. Rainbow. Nice build, bro. Gotta get a man his props. It's still a nice build. Alrighty, here. Let me turn my Mac. It always turns itself off. Sorry. Alrighty, let's go ahead and go to the next one here. Alrighty, this is from Spoon. I remember him, X Spoon. He was talking about the Nintendo Switch and a held down power button, and we've been going back and forth about this. So basically, on his Nintendo Switch, okay, where's my Nintendo Switch controller? Anyone has an? Oh, here it is. There we go. What is that in the way? That's irking me. There we go. Sorry about that. So essentially with the Nintendo Switch, what he was saying was whenever it is docked, it doesn't have a problem. But essentially the power button is held down. So essentially after, you know, whenever he has it undocked, essentially what's happening is this. So it puts itself to sleep, and there's nothing that he can do to change it, and then there's nothing that he can do to stop it, because it essentially is holding down the power button. There's nothing he can do to change it. So we tried to do a few things. We tried to reboot. We tried to push down the button just to make sure. We tried to turn it off, hold the power button, turn it on, release it. The button is still pressable. So we were thinking that maybe, okay, well, the button's still pressable. Maybe it's just stuck on that. So we were like, okay, well, the last thing you can try to do is drain the battery. Drain the battery, and then while it's completely dead, go ahead and then charge it and power it on and see if that resolves the issue. And that still didn't resolve his issue, so it was kind of game over. His motherboard is stuck like that, and there was not a whole lot we could do on it. So where we left off with that, we were like, okay, he said, yep, it died. That sucks, but thanks for all the help either way. I'm glad to be of assistance. By the way, if you have issues in the future, blah, 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 we run a live stream. And he said, thank you very much. That is an assist trophy. I'll take that. We can't call that a W. We didn't do enough. So Luca, just go ahead and get your dime, and we'll just call it a day. That's an assist trophy. That is not a W. We couldn't actually fix that because it is a hardware issue. I'm okay in taking assists or L's because of a hardware issue. I'm not okay with taking an L because of a power or a reboot. That's just tacky. We are so much better than that. So as long as it's not an L because I forgot to tell him to reboot his computer, I'll be okay. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next one here. We have standards on this channel. We can't have anybody messing with our standards. You're like, hey, I rebooted it and fixed it. You're stupid. I can't. You ain't gonna get me with that. I'm just saying, you're not gonna get me with, hey, I rebooted, I fixed it. You're stupid. Thanks for your help anyway, but I didn't even need it because I didn't know I needed to reboot it, even though I posted this on Reddit. So anyway, whatever. So this is from Wasted 13911. This is another repeat. He says, so I wanted to play my Xbox using my laptop. However, it's not connecting. Everything is hooked up correctly and connected to the same Wi-Fi network and updated, but the Xbox Console Companion app is just saying that I'm unable to connect to the Xbox stream it to my laptop. So I'm unable to play using my laptop. Any ideas why? So we talked about this. We were trying to figure out whether he was wired or wireless. And is your PC connected wired or wireless? Connect them both to wired network to see if that resolves the issue. It's not internet issues. It's the Xbox connected to the computer with a cord. What? What? Okay, I think he is trying to get the Xbox to show on his computer, but that's not how that works. Oh, are you trying to plug the HDMI cable from the Xbox into your laptop? If so, this is not going to work. See, the HDMI port on your laptop is HDMI out, not in. Therefore, it cannot take an input from something like an Xbox and display it on your monitor. However, there are ways around this. But none are cheap. None are cheap. Oh, well, okay. There are some cheap ones. I'm lying. However, there are ways around this. You could. Oops, sorry. I pressed tabbed and everything. You could use remote play. Use Xbox remote play, which is what I thought you were trying to set up. And then B, you can use a cam link. What is it called? HD60S. Cam link HD60S, and plug that into your laptop. This will allow you to capture the video of the Xbox and show on your PC. So basically, you can use well, I'm not gonna say the cam link because I'm not sponsored by him or anything. We just say a capture card. capture card and plug that into your laptop. This will allow you to capture the video of the Xbox and show on your PC. Okay, let me explain this. There's a reason why I said it though. I wasn't lying. So the reason why I said to use the HD60 or something along those lines or something of that ilk is because of the refresh rate and the speed. See, if you use a cam link like the original, where is it at? So if you use the default cam link, the one that is the dongle, the USB dongle, the problem you're going to have is that you're going to see a ton of latency. So that guy actually inputs a lot of latency. So if you're watching the screen that is created from having that particular capture card from your Xbox, the latency is going to be too high to actually play any game. And this is going to be for your Xbox, your PlayStation, or your Switch. So because of that, you can't use that particular device. You have to use devices that have low latency. And the original Elgato Cam Link is not one of them. It's meant for cameras, and then you sync the audio in other ways. That's what it's meant for. It's not meant for video games. So don't make that distinction and say, oh yeah, I'm gonna get a Cam Link and use it for my Xbox so I can see it on my laptop. Do not do that, because if you do that, you're gonna have a really, really poor gaming performance. There are ways around that, and the item is called Elgato. I want to show it, but if I show it, it may mess up my video. But maybe I can see it. No, I can't. You know what? I can actually just do it a different way. So what we'll do, it is Elgato card. So the one I was talking about was the HD60, right? And the reason why I was talking about that one is because it has low latency, but this is the one I was thinking of. So this actually goes in your computer. This is the one that I'm currently using, which is the Elgato 4K60 Pro MK2. This is very, very good because it gives you low latency, and that's really the problem there. So the latency is the issue whenever you're using capture cards, especially when you're talking about the PlayStation and the Xbox specifically. Not so much the Switch, but the Switch can do this as well. And essentially it has one HDMI in and one HDMI out. The HDMI out is meant to go into your television, and the HDMI in is meant to go to the camera. So basically either your television or to your PC. But in most cases, it's going to be going into your PC. But, or monitor, I guess is the best way to say that. So basically it can go into a monitor so it can feed a second monitor, or you can basically just use it for your PC. So essentially I guess the best way to say this is that there is a 4K capture utility software that allows you to see the picture that you're actually streaming right then and there, and you can play it from there. Or you can use a program like OBS and input the card and then use that and see it from there from OBS. So you can essentially play while looking at your OBS stream. And that's essentially what I do. So that's one of the ways you can do it. And I don't have anything going into the HDMI out because I don't need a second monitor. So that's essentially how you would do that particular situation for the 4K60. But yes, you need something stronger. You can't just go with a regular old Cam Link, which is this guy here. Like these first few guys here, this Cam Link, you can't go with this. It's meant for cameras. I repeat, it is meant for cameras. It is not meant for PS5, Xbox, Switch. It's meant for cameras. So it's going to have a high level of latency. So please bear that in mind. All right. Oh, Lucas still dropping dimes. I'm so sorry. I need to start learning. I have to remember to turn that off because I'll be talking about a totally different subject and forget all about it. Okay. So let's go ahead and close that out. And where were we? Okay, cool. And so yeah, just let him know, like, hey, you know, if he's trying to connect it with a cord, I'm guessing he's talking about an HDMI cord because that's the only thing that you're connecting your Xbox into your PC with. So yeah, so just kind of let him know if he wants to do that, he's gonna need a capture card or try remote play. Alrighty, Wasted, keep us posted, bro. Let's go ahead and go to the next one here. Group 4. What time is it? Okay, not too bad, not too bad. This is going to be a little bit shorter of a day. I'm on call, so I have to do some work after this, but we'll still finish up. We still have a lot to go. All right, group 4, let's do this. Alrighty. Oh, this is the VPN issue. So, okay, so we talked about this, and I tried to explain it without going too far into it. But essentially, they have two users with separate work VPNs on the same network. So basically, it's a husband and wife, and they're trying to connect to the VPN. One computer works, one computer doesn't. And then one computer is a company computer, and one computer isn't. And so I was trying to get some more information and clarification. And I said, so for the one that does not work, whom is it? Is it yours or his? If it's yours, did your job give you a work PC, or are you trying to use a laptop that does not belong to the company? There's a reason why I say this is just because depending on the compliance metrics of the application, it may not allow you to use the VPN on a computer that isn't the company's computer. It's his that doesn't work. I thought mine wasn't connecting, but it was just lagging or dropping connection when the connection was poor. Both are work provided laptops. Okay. My husband is able to connect to his work VPN using his phone as a hotspot. Got it. So, okay. So he's able to connect to his, okay. If that's the case, then it sounds like the problem is going to be that, okay, let me make sure I want to try to say this the right way. So essentially what that means is if he cannot connect, but he's able to connect with the hotspot, in other words, he changed his internet service provider's IP. So basically, instead of using the internet service provider he's currently using and the router he's currently using, he's using a different one, and that works. What that typically tells me is that the VPN IP address or the host that you're trying to reach he's not able to pull that up via DNS. So basically, whatever you have your DNS settings to is not able to reach the location of that host that he's trying to connect to. Does that make sense? So here, let me, do I still have OneNote as a, yes, I do. Okay, cool. Let me see if I can try to make sense of what I'm trying to talk about here. All right, so we'll add a page and then we'll make it really big here. Actually, you know what? I think that this is probably fine. Okay, OneNote. I haven't used this in forever, so I don't know if this is gonna work, but I guess we'll find. Oh, it works. I guess we'll find out. All right, bet. So let's say you have, let me see the best way to explain this. So it's, all right, so if you have a computer here and you are trying to get out to the internet, this is your router and this is the internet, right? So you're trying to get out to the internet, right? And so you have this computer that's trying to get out to the internet. So it can get out to the internet just fine. However, this is your ISP, okay? So your ISP typically gives you DNS servers that you can actually reach. So essentially, your internet service provider will automatically give you DNS IP addresses. It won't just be 8.8.8.8 and 8.8.4.4. It'll be whatever their DNS is. So DNS is basically a resolution. So if you try to go to Google, it will resolve that to 8.8.8.8 or whatever IP address that you're trying to reach that's closest to where you are. So it turns that name into an IP address. The problem is the DNS for ISP providers is generally not going to be as expansive as freaking Google, okay? It's just not. So there's going to be certain hosts that you may not be able to reach. He proved that when he tried a totally different network, right? So he tried a totally different network. Ooh, that's pretty. He tried a totally different network going to his phone, okay? So whenever he tried his phone, it worked. So this was okay, but this was bad, right? So whenever he tried his phone, it worked just fine. That lets us know that this guy's DNS was no problem. This guy had no problem getting out, but this guy was the problem. So if this guy is the problem, then the only thing that can stop you from actually reaching that location, because we know the location exists because it works on his phone. So if we know the location exists because it works on his phone, then we can go back to him and say, okay, so when we look at this on your home network, more than likely your issue is going to be DNS related, because there is no reason why it can't reach that if it's getting out there. But in this particular situation, it looks like it's not. So what we're going to have him do is change his DNS to 8.8.8.8 and 8.8.4.4 to see if that resolves the issue. That makes sense. So essentially, we know that it does work. We know he can reach that location, but if he can't reach the location on his home network, the only thing that can cause that is DNS or some type of network connectivity, but we'll deal with that as it is. But 9 times out of 10, we're pretty much going to be dealing with a DNS issue in this situation, because this is very common, very, very, very common that you are unable to connect to your work VPN until you change your DNS to 8.8.8.8. It is very common because sometimes internet service providers is not going to have the resolution or know how to get to the resolution of some IPs because it's like some company's IP address that, you know, it may not even be verified by a certificate and therefore it's not even on your DNS record. It gets messy, but that's essentially what we're talking about here. Ooh, that was fun. That was fun. Look, it still works. I'm so happy. All right, so that's essentially what we were talking about, and that's essentially what that means. So back to this issue here. So for this, it sounds like you may be having issues with your DNS and your home network. Your DNS for your home network. DNS for your home network. How do I want to work this? I would say on the router, are you able to change your DNS to 8.8.8.8 or 8.8.4.4? Are you able to change your DNS to 8.8.8 or 8.8.4.4? If not, you would have to go to your computer and make this change. It is okay to make this change because 8.8.8.8 and 8.8.4.4 is going to work anywhere. So even though, you know, you may connect to somebody else's DHCP, it will still have those as static IP or static DNSs, and that's fine. If not, you would have to go to your computer and make this change. And this is going to be start control panel, start control panel, network and internet. If I can spell network and internet, and change adapter settings, choose the connection, right click, properties, TCP IPv4, properties. I think it's properties again. Let's make sure. I'll show you what I was talking about here. So it is going to be control panel, network and internet, network and sharing center, change adapter settings, which is always going to be on the left-hand side. And then once you are here, it is going to be whichever network. So if it's Wi-Fi, you click on Wi-Fi. If it's wired, you click on wired. But either way, you click on properties, TCP IPv4, which is going to be this one here. Okay, and it is properties again. And then for here, you want to just change the DNS to whatever you want it to. So as you can see here, I've changed mine to 8.8.8.8 as well. And I changed my IP to be 192. Whatever, just so to make it a little bit easier to be reached. Alrighty. So that is exactly what you would do here. And those are private IP addresses. That's not public. I'm not going to explain why that is, but it's fine. It's not going to hurt anything. Nobody can reach that. So right click on properties, TCP IPv4, and then click on properties again. Then here, change the DNS servers and hit OK. Alrighty. So yeah, that's what I would say for this one here. So if we're talking about his and they're both work computers and yours is fine and his is not, then okay, unless they work for the same company, then it gets kind of messy. But as long as they work for different companies, this is what I would recommend. If they work for the same company, then that's going to be a little different and we can work on that. But if they're working for different companies, then it sounds like you have a DNS problem. Okay, Nomadic Librarian. Keep us posted. I was actually about to be like, thank you for actually having us go into the networking, but I try not to go that far into networking. Like, I'm not about to sit here and teach you firewalls. Like, it starts to get, okay, like, it's like, how niche do you want me to go? You know what I mean? Like, my range is unlimited. So I can go as far as you want to go, but I don't want to go because the further you go, the more you alienate people. So you try not to go too far, or you at least try to make it as understandable and easy to digest as humanly possible, so without going too cray into it. So I try not to go too far into networking, just enough to fix, you know, common household issues in the residential and the commercial side. So this here would be the commercial side, of course. So with these type of commercial issues and things that you have with people and customers that are trying to connect through VPNs, those are some of the common things that you experience. And almost always it's going to be something with DNS related. Like it's usually DNS related. Alrighty there. So Pneumatic Librarian, keep us posted. Let's go ahead and go to the next one here. Alright, so this is from Performance Wise, and Performance Wise writes, PS4 games stop working after I turn off my PS4. Every single time, my work laptop keeps turning off, sorry. Every single time I turn off my console and come back, I have to delete everything and then re-download all my games back on and then do it all over again every time I want to play something. And a lot of the time, I don't even have the time to wait for the download, and it's every game, even games I don't bother playing. Is there a solution to what's going on? What? Every single time I turn off my console and come back, I have to delete everything and then re-download all my games back on. So you are saying every time you shut down your PS4, the drive gets wiped? Have you tried to replace the hard drive? I mean, you're talking about the drive getting wiped, like it's just blank, like it's unable to read or write to the drive. So it sounds like there's just the drive is having problems. So also, you can also turn off the sleep setting so it doesn't actually shut down. Also, you can turn off the, also you can set the PS4, set the PS4 so that it doesn't shut down, but instead goes to sleep if you are unable to replace the drive. Let me think about that. Okay, could you say go ahead and try to reset the device and see if that fixes the issue? Sure. And it's okay for you to say it very early? Sure. You know, because here's the thing. The reason why we can say that is because whenever he actually shuts down and reboots, he's basically coming from scratch anyway. So you might as well have him go ahead and wipe it and see what happens. Also, try to reset the console and reinstall the PS4 OS. Oops, sorry. PS4 OS to see if that resolves it as well. It's kind of an interesting one, right? Because if you're talking about the fact that it's able to download but not giving you any errors, but when you shut down and turn it back on, it's starting to have problems and it's not able to see that and it's making you re-download all the time, then either A, it's not actually writing it to the drive, or B, it's not able to read it from the drive. Either way, they're both bad, which means that you're typically having some type of a drive issue, in which case I would say go ahead and try to wipe the drive and see if that fixes it. If it's not able to fix it, then what you would want to do there is replace it. This is true for everything. I don't care if we're talking about at your job. I don't care if we're talking about a PS5. I don't care if we're talking about Xbox, a firewall, a router, a switch, a network switch, a gigabit switch, a LAN switch, whatever. If you're having a problem with drives, whether it's hard drives, whether it's flash or anything like that, what you would want to do on this situation, especially when it's not able to read or write, is you want to try to format it to see if that resolves the issue. And if you can't fix the issue by formatting and it's still having the exact same problem, then I would say go ahead and try to proceed with replacing it with another hard drive and then just go from there. And I don't care what device it is. It doesn't matter if we were talking about PS4s here, but it doesn't matter which device it is. This is true throughout your entire lifetime as either person that's trying to get into tech or an engineer or whatever. It is true across the board. Alrighty, so performance wise, keep us posted. That's really hard to say. Performance wise, keep us posted. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next one here. Oh, ooh, okay. My college student setup. This is from Weenie Woman. I like the mouse. I like the keyboard too. I like the setup just in general. It's actually pretty nice. It's nice and it's compact and it's portable. And on top of that, this person looks like a gamer. Nice setup. Very gamery. Is that a word? Nice setup. G Fuel? Nice setup. It screams gamer. Anybody who has G Fuel, I'm guessing you're like sponsored by G Fuel or something. As much G Fuel as you have, like either you're having a heart attack or you're sponsored by G Fuel. That's the only thing that can explain that. So I mean, hey, but you know, it's a nice build, it's a nice setup. Congratulations to you. Alrighty, let's go ahead and go to the next one here. So Weenie Woman, you are definitely not a Weenie Woman with that much G Fuel. You are charged up. All right, so this is from Desert Sailing. Oh yeah, I remember this. So stuffing a 4090 into a Lope Ghost S1 with the new EK Pro water block. We were talking about this. We were like, no, I don't think that you can actually do this. Well, we just thought it was a bad idea. Not that you can't, it's just that if you have plans on running an AIO for a 240 millimeter radiator with a 4090 plus a CPU, you're freaking insane. And there's no way that you're gonna be able to push with just 2 fans. It's not happening. It's gonna be way too hot to actually handle both the GPU and the CPU. It's not gonna work. I'm telling you right now, it's not gonna work. So that's what we were saying. We're like, bro, I don't think you're gonna get the temps that you want, unless of course we're talking about AMD Ryzen and lowering it to a 105 watt or a 65 watt, then that may actually work. So, and we said, what CPU do you plan on using? Wondering if a 240 millimeter radiator would be enough for both. Good question. I am using a Ryzen 9 7950X 3D. Game over. That's insane. Because it has a TDP of 120 watt and averages 160. No. I have two 240 millimeter copper rads and 4 Noctua fans, so 480 for the total rad speed. Okay, that's probably okay. One on the top and one on the bottom. I'm also going to install a taller feet in order to give the bottom rad the necessary clearance. This setup should get me 560 watts of cooling. It's going to be close on the thermals for sure. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Well, when in doubt, try the 105 watt mode. 105 watt mode. It's what I swap to when using SFX builds for my 7950X. So, you know, I mean, just let them know, like, hey, don't be afraid to use a 105 watt. I get that it's going to be a little bit of a nerf, but it may be better in certain situations, especially if it's not getting enough cooling. You know, so if he's doing two 280 millimeter, or I'm sorry, he's doing two 240 millimeter radiators, so a 480 millimeters total, but they're separated. So one is going for the graphics card and the other's going for the CPU. That's fine. That's fine. It's just that you can't do both to a 240 millimeter radiator. Like, that's death. That's not going to happen. Did he even show us in the picture? Oh, maybe he did. Oh, no. I couldn't tell. Okay, so because we only saw this radiator, we couldn't tell that is actually a radiator down there at the bottom. It was hard to see. But basically, he just has a gigantic case full of radiators. I'm not sure. We should probably let him know this. So here's why I'm laughing. I'm not sure if this portable PC can actually fit on a plane. I think because of the amount of liquid that it's going to be holding, it may actually not be able to fly on a plane. We should probably let him know that. It occurred to me as soon as he said 240 millimeters. 240 should be fine as far as passing through customs. It's just that 2 is going to be a problem. It's the exact same thing as having a water bottle or a giant water bottle. They're not going to let you have it up to a certain amount of liters, and he may have way too much. So we might want to let our homie know here, because that's something that we ran into while troubleshooting all these, I don't know, months that we've been doing this. We've had cases where customers have had issues with their liquid coolers and passing customs. They said generally, if I remember correctly, and I'm trying to pull this off of picture, they essentially said that up to 120 millimeter radiator is generally, up to a 240 millimeter radiator is generally okay. However, more than that can be a problem. So in his case here, because he has 240 millimeter radiators, that may be a problem. So if he has plans, he may have to check that bag. So we need to let him know. That is what I was thinking about. So we'll say here, also, it should be noted that we have had questions in the past where people ran into issues getting their case to pass security in airports because of the amount of liquid it's holding. So if you have plans on travel with that case, you may need to check the bag. All right, so yeah, gotta let him know, because not everybody knows that, and I don't want him to be in a situation where he gets to the airport and he misses his flight because, you know, they won't let him take his computer onto the plane. So we just gotta let him know that that's gonna be a problem. Rare issue, but it happens more than you think, because a lot of people just run liquid coolers. Like I run liquid coolers, everybody run liquid coolers, but up to a certain limit can be a problem. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next one here. So this is from Desperate Cookie. I like the, aw, isn't it pretty? So when is RGB too much RGB? I remember this. We talked about this yesterday. So basically we were saying it wasn't enough RGB because he needs some down by his seat so he can make his butt glow. We were talking about that and we thought it was funny. And so I said, nice setup, dude. Definitely needs LED under your computer chair, LOL. You just gave me the idea. Reply. No problem. No problem. All about making that butt glow. Yo, gotta make the butt glow, man. It's not real LEDs unless your butt is glowing. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next one here. And it's all text, so we'll just go to here. Oh, it's disk usage on top of that, so it's super boring. All right, so this is from Visual Operation. Disk usage 100% all the time. Okay, computer takes ages to boot or start. Well, that's what would happen if your disk usage is at 100%. I mean, that's gonna be bad. I have this problem with one of my friend's PCs. I've already tried running the Windows Defender and rebooting the virtual memory, taking out all the non-Windows programs from startup, even cleaning the disk with disk cleanup. I've already checked the status of the disk and it says it's not dirty and that is okay. Does anyone have any idea how to fix it? She doesn't have enough money for a new PC, so she is literally just constantly waiting for hours every time she does anything. Okay, well, is the disk full? Is this a hard drive? I'll explain it. I'm trying to remember how I wanted to explain it, but I can explain it. So if we go to Windows 11, and we go to Task Manager. All right, they're talking about this, right? Disk usage, and they're not actually talking about the disk being full, like with storage. They're actually talking about the disk utilization, which is right here. So what you want to do in this kind of a situation is that you want to actually press the down arrow to see exactly what's causing it to hold up and then go from there. So basically we want him to go to Task Manager, her to go to Task Manager and then go to disk and see exactly, basically sort in descending order and see exactly who's at the top, and then we'll go from there. Alrighty, so, well, is the disk full? Is this a hard drive or SSD? For starters, go to Start, Task Manager. There is that situation where it kind of shows the small version of Task Manager. Let me go back real quick. We have to click on anything? I don't think so. I'm not gonna worry about it. I mean, I'm sure they're gonna figure it out. So if it does show that, there used to be this thing where whenever you go to Task Manager, it doesn't show you the full Task Manager. You kind of have to click on something in order for it to actually show the full size Task Manager. But I'm not too worried about it. I'm sure they'll figure that part out if it happens to do that. Start Task Manager. Then for disk that is showing 100, click on it, which will sort it in descending order. Who is at the top? And that's all you do. You know, it's like, okay, well, just basically click on the disk usage and then click on it, and sort in descending order. And then once you sort in descending order, see who's at the top, and then we cure it. We try to figure out exactly why this person is utilizing all of your CPU and then go from there. Well, I'm sorry, not all your CPU, but all of your disk utilization. But it could also be that you have a hard drive and your hard drive is going out. So it could be a couple different reasons. Oh my goodness. And another PagerDuty incident. Okay. Okay, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. We were almost done anyway. We got, what, 4 or 5 more to go? So let me see here. Hello, I see this. Give me 10 minutes. Okay, sorry, getting paged. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the next one here because I'm running out of time. All right, let's go to the next one here. This is from Charon8, Crazy 8. I remember this. He said he was having a Wi-Fi issue. So we were talking about Wi-Fi network cannot be joined, exclamation point, saying I cannot connect to the network, but not the internet. This is gonna page me. Let me turn this off real quick. Turn you off real quick so you don't page me. I don't think I'm gonna beat it in time. I think it's gonna straight up page me immediately. Come on. Come on. Triggered. Snooze for an hour. Hey, beat it. All right. So, and then I said, well, for starters, when you click on the details of your Wi-Fi network and scroll through the options, what does it say for the IP info and DNS info? It sounds as if the Mac already has an IP and therefore is unable to pull a new one. Yes, it seems to be an IP problem, but I can't figure out what it is. When I pull up the network tab, it says self-assigned IP, but then nothing appears in the IP address space. Okay, so basically it's giving itself an IP address, but the subnet mask and router both are populated. DNS was completely clear, but now I was just randomly able to connect and it has a couple of addresses in there. Occasionally I'm able to connect for a period of time until I put my computer to sleep by closing the lid or restart. I'm also usually clicked off at some point. After posting above, my wife's computer had the same problem for a minute, but it quickly self-resolved. I'm thinking it may be a router issue, but my wife's Air seems to have the same internet settings as my Pro. Yep. You are correct. Let's explain to him what this is. So a 169 is an IP address that the computer gives itself so it can talk to other computers that are also on that subnet. So it's just a default IP address. So basically your computer is giving you a local IP address because it is unable to pull an IP address from the router. I would suggest rebooting the router as well as updating it to the latest firmware version. Let us know if that fixes the issue. Thanks. Let us know if it fixes the issue. Let us know if that fixes the issue. We'll just say like that. I don't want to say it like it's final. Let us know if that fixes the issue, but that's essentially what you would do. So if you go into your Mac, why am I saying it? Why are you saying it when you can show it? So if you go into your Mac settings, right, and you were going into system preferences or system settings, but then the preferences, and then we click on network, right? So what he's saying is whenever he goes to his Wi-Fi network here and he's looking at the details, what it's actually saying for him is that is actually pulling a 169 address. So when he's going down this list here, it's actually showing him a 169, which means that it's unable to pull an IP address from the router. Therefore, it gave itself a 169 address. When that happens, what that means is it's just unable to pull an IP. So generally, it's going to be an issue with the router. Therefore, you just want to go ahead and reboot the router. You can say you hook up directly. That's also a very valid point. You can try to hook up directly to see if that resolves the issue. Maybe the issue is just with straight Wi-Fi. Those are all true, but I would just go ahead and reboot the router because the router is going to be the head of the snake here, as well as going ahead and updating the firmware on the router just to be on the safe side. Sitting here trying to explain it without showing it. Boy, that is tacky. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next one here. Let me make sure I let them know. Okay, cool. They haven't replied back, so it's cool. Oh, all right now. All right, don't hurt yourself. Let's take a look at this real quick. So custom case mods, SLM 5.7 liter and RAL 9003 signal white, pure orange. Yo, that's pretty. Oh, that is nice. And it can fit a GPU, it looks like. And it's small enough that it can fit in like a backpack or something. This is nice. This is really nice. This is really nice. Where can we order? Getty, does he have the link? NFC S4 Mini, but slightly girthier. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what this guy is. I remember yesterday when I couldn't remember what this was. This is the S4 Mini, or Tiny. The S4 Mini was a smaller version that was actually a little bit, or I'm sorry, it was a bigger version than this guy, but it actually was able to accommodate a graphics card. It was so good, but I never got a chance to get the Mini. I had to get the Tiny instead. But the reason why I didn't get the Mini is because at the time, I already had a case that was very similar, but I don't use it anymore because it's way too heavy. So yeah, this is pretty sweet. Custom, who is it from? Who's the poster? Oh, Custom Mod. I mean, that's not a name. I mean, okay, yes it is. It is totally a name. My bad. Okay, so this is the shop he's actually referring to. Yo, that is really, really nice. That is really, really, really nice. I may have to buy that. That's pretty clean, I gotta say. So congrats to you, sir. I will totally buy that. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next one here. Let's switch back. So this is from we'll just go with opportunity, okay? I restarted my computer using the latest recovery installation. After restart, I'm missing Wi-Fi, Bluetooth options, and probably more. It's trying to make me use Ethernet. I can't use Ethernet. Why not? Well, can you use Ethernet temporarily so you can download updates? Once the updates are complete and the Wi-Fi is seen in your network connections, you can swap back. So yeah, that's essentially what you would do here. You essentially try to hook up wire just so you can download updates and then go from there. It's telling you that it needs to download updates. So this is only going to be temporary, just so you can make sure you can download all the updates and get it updated and then go from there. Download updates to get it updated for the update. But yeah, just download all your updates and see how that goes and then kind of go from there. So Mr. Opportunity, keep us posted. Alrighty, so this is from Crazer. PC doesn't see monitor. So sometimes when I start my PC, everything starts, but monitor says no signal, and obviously there is no image. I remember this. They had to hard boot the PC in order for the monitor to actually come on. And it sounds like your components are going to sleep. Go to start, edit plan, edit power plan. Here set it to never and hit the advanced settings. Here go to high performance and okay. See if this resolves the issue. Also try a different display cable to see if it makes a difference. Already have it set to performance and sleep, and other things is set to never. I also use Xbox on the same monitor through HDMI, and as I remember, no same issue with HDMI. Okay, PC doesn't see monitor. Okay. Okay. What kind of graphics card do you have, and what kind of CPU do you have? More okay, we'll just go with that because we need to know this, because there's no way to move forward, because basically he's told us essentially, well, kind of told us that maybe the HDMI cable has been replaced, but he's still having the issue. I already have it set to performance and sleep. I also tried the Xbox on this. I also use Xbox on the same monitor through HDMI. Oh, okay, I'll say one more thing. On top of that, could you swap the HDMI cable from the Xbox and the PC? Can you swap the cables between the Xbox and PC? If it's also connected via DisplayPort cable. I get that the PC is display, but it should also have a HDMI cable. Thus, try the Xbox's HDMI cable to see if that resolves the issue. Just in case it's an input issue. So basically go ahead and try the Xbox's HDMI cable because we already know it works. So basically unhook it from the Xbox, hook it into the PC, remove the display cable, and then try it. Okay, I don't have to say that. I said swap the cable, therefore, okay, maybe he's not gonna do that. So let me make sure I say that. Could you swap the cables between the Xbox and PC? I get that the PC is displayed, but it should also have an HDMI cable. Thus, try the Xbox's HDMI cable to see if that resolves the issue. And unhook the display. There we go. Got to make that edit just to make sure that he knows not to have them both going into the inputs on the TV. Alrighty, and the last one for today here. I had a feeling these on-call weeks, man, they get a little rough. Relative current 6330. How do I get rid of suggested searches on Instagram? Oh wow, Instagram, okay. Underneath the search bar on Instagram are suggested search terms. Some of mine are frankly embarrassing and I want to get rid of them or change them so they don't appear if someone looks over my shoulder when I'm on the app. I've tried blocking the keyword, blocking hashtags, saying I'm not interested, and also just straight up not looking at the content, and nothing is working to get rid of it. It's not the search history. I've tried clearing that too and it doesn't work. Please help. Suggested search terms underneath the search bar. I need a phone. Okay, Instagram, search. Oh, you're absolutely right. Is this bad to show? No. So this is what mine shows. This is what he's talking about here. So mine just shows this, and there isn't a way to change that. That's just exactly the way it is. There's just no options here. So it's just basically pulling, it's pulling some of the things that you currently have, and it's basically basing it off of that. But some of this stuff I've never gone to. Like, I don't care about two people trying to sit in a chair. Like, that's not something that I just simply don't care. but let me see if there's any options here. I don't think there are. Settings. Oh, you know what? Oh, no, not scheduled content. I'm sorry, that's not searched. Meta verified, close friends, discover people, favorites. No. Settings. Notification, business, privacy, supervision, security, suggested content. Suggested content. Some feeds. Okay, so settings and suggested content is where you go to. It actually looks like this. Oops, sorry. And by the way, I actually, I'm sorry, I clicked on the wrong thing. I actually turned off the white mode, the light mode for my, the Samsung. So now we will be able to see the Samsung again. I'm sorry for that. But yeah, with this one here. So if you go to your profile, then settings in the top right, to your profile, top right, the one that looks like pancakes. Here you have the option of, what did it say? Suggested content. Suggested content. Here you should be able to change what it shows you there. Let us know if that doesn't work. Thanks. All right, and that's what you would do for that. There's only that one option, but I've never really thought about it because I don't go to search that often. But yeah, essentially that's what you would do. You would basically try to turn off the suggested content to see if that resolves the issue, or say what you don't like so it doesn't give you something crazy. So yeah, that is going to do it for today. I am so sorry we're stopping a little bit early here, but yeah, work calls. So I got to get paid somehow. So, and if you, okay, I'm sorry, I ran out of breath. And if you like this video, go ahead and like button if you really like it. Go to subscribe. I love you either way. Take care, all the best, and bye. I will see you tomorrow. I forgot the button. There we go. There it is.